Welcome to the Black Sun Syndicate, a division of the Kolat Information Network. I'm your host, Baylan Skoll, Mercenary for Hire. Today we're going to discuss my top cards from the Vigilance Aspect from Spark of Rebellion. So uh, my first card on this list is Infernal 4. I think Infernal 4 is a great card. It helps. Um, it's a nice early game drop. Lets you filter your deck um, a little bit, put cards on the bottom of your deck that maybe you don't want, and keep some cards that you do. It happens on play and when defeated. So it can be effective um, both early game and late game to sort of filter through the stuff that you don't want to see and get to the stuff that you do. Um, Also, it's a very nice shout out to um, Battlefield 2. There's several characters in this aspect from Battlefield to the Death Trooper. Um, 3 cost, 3/3 ground unit, Imperial Trooper. When played, deal 2 damage to ground unit, 2 damage to an enemy ground unit. Um, so this is great for damaging your own characters with that have grit, um, such as your uh, speeder bike trooper, your um, bays, and then you also have uh, Fifth Brother. And then if you're playing Krennic, any of your damaged units gets +1 attack. Um, it's really good there. It's also very good not only as far as the side effect of damaging your troops, but if you're playing Super Laser Technician, you can shoot your own Super Laser Technician and shoot one of your opponent's characters. It potentially only has 2 remaining health. You get 2 characters off the board, and you've ramped yourself by 1. So um, again, this is another one of those cards that I think is really good. Um, More specifically in control builds, but um, definitely if we get enough characters with grit that we can do some ridiculous things with, this thing could actually be both a removal spell and a aggro card. Would be kind of good. All right. Um, I have Count Dooku as another character in the slot. I'm glad that we did see some of the Clone Wars era or prequel era characters in this first set. Um, a 5/4 for 7 is a little understated. However, he's a shielded unit, and when you play him, you may defeat a unit with 4 or less remaining HP, which technically we consider this a 2-for-1. You play 1 card, it does 2 things. It's a character in play that uh, either removes another character or draws you a card, etc. Um, and so if you're playing a control deck, if you like force units, um, and you're in Vigilance, you might be in the mood for some Count Dooku. Every game has to have a global effect that removes a bunch of units from play in some shape, form, or fashion. Badge of the Gathering was cards like Wrath of God, um, being the destroy all creatures. Um, Obviously, here this is a legendary. 8 cost is a lot, um, but defeat all units, and obviously it's the Death Star / Star Killer base, laser destroying everything. Um, there are there are games where this is absolutely necessary for you to level the playing field again and take control of the game. So this is a card that's both necessary, also frustrating to play against as well sometimes. All right, so let's go into the heroic side of the Vigilance cards. Uh, Four-costed characters are very hit or miss in Spark or Rebellion. I tried to pick, there were several I could have picked from in the Vigilance heroic stats. Um, I ended up picking Kanan. It was between him and Yoda, simply because Kanan is one of the better four drops in the game. Four cost 4/5, being a force unit, a Jedi, a rebel, and a member of Spectre. Um, he ends up um, healing you. If you have more than one Spectre unit, then you get to discard more than one card off the top of your opponent's deck. Um, Most games, it's going to heal 1 to 2 every time that he attacks. And being a 4/5 for 4 is, again, above rate, and the healing is very needed. Um, Again, a lot to like about Kanan, whether you're a fan of Spectre, fan of Rebels, but if you're wanting a well-costed force unit in Heroic, probably a good choice. Now we talk about Mr. Beefy Boy. Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, 7 cost, 6/7, legendary, restore 3, and when played, give a enemy unit -3/-3 for this phase, or if a friendly unit was defeated this phase, give the enemy unit -6/-6 for the phase instead. Most of the time, you're going to trigger um, the second one, because most of the time your opponent has taken initiative, done something to start the turn, and then you play this and you get to nuke one of their units. The restore 3 is absolutely huge. This is the largest restore number printed on a singular card in this set. Um, yes, 7 is a lot, but most of the decks that are playing this Luke Skywalker are obviously playing a long game. They want to play control, and so the ability plus the restore makes it a very good legendary card. Speaking of cards designed to go long, Vigilance is not a fast aspect pair on either side, um, but Redemption here is the biggest single healing card in the game. If your opponent gets to 8 and you're in this color pair, beware of this dropping down out of nowhere and healing 8 damage, normally from your base, and dealing itself that much. And also having Sentinel is an atrocious thing to have to deal with. I played a game a couple of weeks ago um, where I had my opponent close to defeated. They dropped Redemption and healed. They almost healed it off the damage off Luke Skywalker instead of their base. Had they done that, I would have won. I would have taken initiative and won the next turn. That did not happen. He actually took it off his base. Fantastic play. Um, I then was able to deal with both Luke and Redemption, and he held a second Redemption in hand. So I lost that game. Needless to say, card is very, very good. If you've designed and are playing a long game, this is a fantastic card to help tip the balance of the force back in your favor. I tried to pick um, a some event cards. Um, this is my favorite heroic vigilance card in this set. The fourth is with me, does some absurd things. Um, 2 experience tokens, potentially a shield token, and then you can attack with the unit. I mean, that's multiple effects in one card. Yes, 4 is a lot, but I will tell you what this card does is painful. Um, normally you can do it on a force unit, but again, my opponent that I spoke of earlier, he ended up playing this on a C3PO, which already had an experience token on it. So now C3PO has 3 experience tokens on it, and then he got to attack with it. He was the bane of my deck. Yeah, you heard that right. A C3PO. Again, another reason I love Star Wars card games. Now we'll just get into the Vigilance cards either side you play. Binds all things. This is an amazing card for particularly force using decks. Obviously, we already have repair as a 1 cost heal 3 off a unit or base in this set. This being able to heal 3, and then if you control the force unit, being able to deal that much damage to another unit is definitely a very swingy card. So I played 1 card, healed 3, and then dealt 3. Again, multiple effects, single card in 1 action is very, very good. You want these type of swingy cards to help um, take control back of a game. Uh, I debated about which card to put in this slot. Um, I ended up, it was between, we had Vanquish, we had Takedown, and then I thought about Power of the Dark Side, because all 3 of those are event cards that are played in the various control decks on both sides of the Vigilance Aspect. Um, I I went with Takedown because it's slightly restrictive, but can still deal with leaders. So defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining HP. This can defeat a leader. Vanquish defeats anything but a leader. And Power of the Dark Side requires make your opponent destroy one of their units, which takes a little work to get there. I think this of all of them is the easiest of the 3 to manipulate, so that you can get the leader off the board that you want. They're all 3 played in those type of control decks. Um, so and, and so you're going to see them regardless. All right, guys. What do you think of my list? Do you agree or disagree with any of those? Um, Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Uh, and I will be back with another Star Wars Unlimited video. Um, until next time, no matter the game, there is no escape from the Force.